I, Aru Sadia, welcomes you to my YouTube channel AS Classes. I hope all of you are doing well. In today's lecture, we are going to start with our chapter 3 of class 6 geography, named as Motions of Earth. Before starting this motions of Earth, let's first have a small recap of the chapter that we have studied earlier, the Earth in the solar system. In that chapter, we have studied about the planets, solar system, universe, galaxies, everything we have studied in this chapter. But from that chapter, there are two terms which I have explained to you, that is orbit and axis. This motion of Earth is also revolves around this term axis. So I am giving you a brief introduction of this. What is orbit? The planet of solar system moves around the sun in a fixed path, and these fixed paths are called as orbits. These paths are elongated. If this is sun and the earth is revolving around it, this is known as orbit. The orbit are fixed paths on which an planet moves. Now axis, the imaginary line. Axis is the imaginary line which connects North Pole with the South Pole. Here this you can see, this is an imaginary line which connects North Pole with the South Pole, and Earth moves from west to east. Each planet have its own axis. Every planet have its own axis. I hope now it is clear what is an orbit and what is an axis, because in this chapter we are going to discuss about the motions of Earth. So I thought I should give you a brief introduction of what is axis, because this entire chapter is going to revolve around it. Now we are going to start with our chapter, that is motions of Earth. Motions of Earth. When we talk about motions of Earth, they are of two types. First is rotation and the other one is revolution. What does rotation means? The movement of the earth on its axis is known as rotation. When the earth moves on its axis or rotates on its axis, it is known as rotation. And what is revolution? The movement of the earth around the sun in a fixed path on an orbit, it is known as revolution. What is revolution? The movement of the earth around the sun in a fixed path or orbit is regarded as revolutions. I hope it is clear now what is rotation and revolutions. These are the two types of motions that Earth performs. For your better understanding about what is an orbit and axis, I have explained you earlier, so that it would be clear that what is rotation, the movement of the earth on its axis. When the earth rotates on its axis, it is known as rotation, and when the earth revolves around the sun in a fixed path or an orbit, it is regarded as revolution. Now we are going to study about these motions of earth in detail. Going to start with our first motion of earth, named as rotation. All of us know that what is rotation? The movement of earth on its own axis is called as rotation. How much time does earth take to rotate around its own axis? It takes 24 hours. Earth takes 24 hours to complete one rotation. You can see here the movement of earth on its axis is called as rotation. Duration 24 hours to complete one rotation around its axis. The period of rotation is known as the earth day. Direction I have told you so many times. Earth rotates from west to east. Now, what effect does rotation causes? Earth is moving on its axis. But what this moving on its axis or rotating around its axis brings changes. So the changes that this rotation brings is the formation or the occurrence of day and night. Rotation is responsible for the occurrence of day and night. This I am going to explain you in this diagram. First, see this term, circle of illumination. An imaginary circle that divides the day from night on the globe is called a circle of illumination. This also I am going to explain you here. We have studied axis. Axis is the imaginary line that connects the North Pole with the South Pole. And this circle of illumination is a circle, is an imaginary circle that divides the day from the night. It divides day from night. And rotation, it is the movement of Earth on its axis. Now, when you see this figure, we have studied in our previous chapter, globe, latitude and longitude, that Earth is sphere in shape and sphere in shape, that is geoid. Okay, geoid in shape. And we have studied this figure also, that is, this is Arctic Circle, that is 66.5 degree north. This is Tropic of Cancer, 23.5 degree north. This is Equator, 0 degree. Then this is Tropic of Capricorn, 23.5 degrees south. And this is Antarctic Circle, that is 66.5 degree south. This is North Pole, this is South Pole, 90 degree, 90 degree. We have studied this in earlier chapter. This is axis, which connects North Pole with the South Pole. This is North Pole and this is South Pole. Now this is Earth, which is sphere in shape, geoid in shape. When the sunlight is falling on the Earth, then due to its spherical shape, half of the Earth is receiving maximum sunlight, and that maximum sunlight were falling on the part of the Earth which experiences day, and the other part that doesn't receive the sunlight, and they were receiving sunlight in a slanting form when they experiences night over there. So due to its shape, spherical shape, only the half part of Earth is receiving the sunlight and experiencing day, and the other half is not experiencing the sunlight, and the occurrence of the night occur over there. And you can also see this is a dotted line. This is an imaginary circle, that is the circle of illumination, which divides the day from night. This imaginary line. Okay, I hope it is clear now. As we have studied that the sunlight is responsible for the occurrence of the day and night, as the Earth is moving. When the front part comes towards the sun, then it receives the maximum sunlight and day occurs, and then the other have the night over there. What happens if this Earth stop rotating? The rotation of the Earth is responsible for the occurrence of day and night. But if I ask you a question, what happens if Earth stops rotating? Then the occurrence of day and night will not be possible, because the part of the Earth which is facing the sun receives only heat, and it becomes very warm and hot, unsuitable for survival. And the part which is not receiving sunlight at all are experiencing nights, and they were extreme cold over there. So the life would not be possible. If the Earth stops rotating on its axis, then the life would not be possible on the Earth. Life is only possible because it is rotating. That results in the formation of day and night. That's why rotation is important. I hope it is clear now what is rotation. And if the Earth stopped rotating, then the life would not be possible on the Earth, because the area receiving the sunlight would be hot and not receiving would be cold. So life would not be possible on that planet. I hope it is clear now what is rotation, its duration, period, direction, effect, and what is this circle of illumination. I hope it is clear from this diagram. That's all for rotation. Revolution. What is revolution? The movement of Earth around the sun in a fixed path or orbit is regarded as revolution. We have studied what is rotation. The movement of Earth on its axis is known as rotation, and Earth takes 24 hours to complete one rotation. Whereas what is revolution? The movement of Earth around the sun in the fixed path or orbit is called as revolution. Now duration. As we know, rotation, Earth takes 24 hours to complete one rotation, whereas Earth takes 365 days, 6 hours or 366 days to complete one revolution. Earth takes 365 days or 366 days to complete one revolution around the sun. Now, a leap year. If we talk about a leap year, what is it? Can you name me a month which consists of shortest number of days? It is February. February consists of 28 number of days. But on every 4th year, it consists of 29 days. How it is possible? We say that generally a year consists of 365 days. But on every 4th year, a year consists of 366 days. How this is possible? From where does that one extra day comes from? So, when we say that the duration of Earth to complete one revolution is 365 days and 6 hours. So we consider a year consisting of 365 days. But we ignore this 6 hours, and this 6 hours add up to 4 years and gives us a sum of 24 hours, which is equal to 1 day. So on every 4th year there is a leap year which consists of 366 days. I hope it is clear now. From where does this one extra day comes from? Leap year, we consider a year consisting of 365 days as I told you, and ignore this 6 hours. So these 6 hours saved every year are added to make 1 day. So 1 day consists of 24 hours over a span of 4 years, and on every 4th year there is a leap year. So this 6 hour into 4 gives you 24 hours is equals to 1 day. So we add this surplus 1 day to the month of February. Thus every 4th year is of 29 days instead of 28 days. Such a year with 366 days is known as a leap year. I hope it is clear now from where does this extra 1 day comes from. We generally consider a year consisting of 365 days and ignore the 6 hours. So this 6 hours add up to the 4 years, and every 4th year gives us 1 extra day, that is 24 hours, and that 1 extra day is added to the month of February, gives the total number of days in February 29 instead of 28 days, and a year on every 4th year a year consists of 366 days instead of 365 days. This is known as a leap year. I hope the concept of leap year is clear in your mind. From where does that 1 extra day comes from, and why on every 4th year we experience is a leap year. Now there is another term known as orbital plane. What is an orbital plane? The plane formed by the orbit is called as orbital plane. We know that what is orbit? We have discussed. So the plane formed by the orbit is known as an orbital plane. This, when we talk about revolution, the movement of the earth around the sun in a fixed path is known as orbit, and the angle formed by the plane formed by the orbit is called as an orbital plane. The axis of the earth, which is an imaginary line, makes an angle of 66.5 degree with its orbital plane. A question can also be asked what is the angle formed by the axis on orbital plane. So it is 66.5 degree. I hope it is clear now what is orbital plane. The plane formed by orbit is called as orbital plane. The axis of the earth, which is an imaginary line, makes an angle of 66.5 degree with its orbital plane. Effects. We have studied what effects does rotation cause. Occurrence of day and night are caused by rotation of the earth on its axis. Now when we talk about what effects or changes does revolution of earth brings, so formation of seasons. Seasons are formed due to the revolution. When the earth moves around the sun in a fixed path or orbit, it is called as revolution, and revolution results in the formation of seasons. In India, there are 4 types of seasons, which are summer, winter, spring and autumn. I hope it is clear now. What effect does revolution brings? Now you can see this diagram. You must be thinking several terms were written on every diagram. So now I am going to explain you all of this, how these seasons are formed. These are the images of the earth taken from 4 different months, which we study. That is from 21st June, this is March, this is December and September. Okay, now first we will discuss about this and this, that is summer season and winter season. As you can see in this diagram, the northern hemisphere of the earth is tilted towards the sun. Okay, the Tropic of Cancer receiving maximum sunlight. So the northern hemisphere of the earth is receiving maximum sunlight, so they are experiencing summer. As we know, equator, what does equator do? It is an imaginary line which divides the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere. So this is the northern hemisphere, this is the southern hemisphere, and the sun rays are falling more on southern hemisphere, that is on Tropic of Cancer. So they are receiving more sunlight, so the northern hemisphere experiencing summer at this period of time, that is in June. And the southern hemisphere is receiving slanting sunlight towards the pole, so they are cold and there is winter in southern hemisphere. It should be very clear that when there is summer in northern hemisphere, there would be winter in southern hemisphere, and when there is summer in southern hemisphere, then there is winter in northern hemisphere. Now there is a term called as summer solstice. What does it mean? On 21st June, the earth experiences the longest day and the shortest night. The longest day and shortest night on 21st June was experienced in the southern hemisphere, and the nights are longer than the days in the southern hemisphere is experienced, and this condition of earth is called as a summer solstice, which is experienced on 21st of June. I hope it is clear. What is summer solstice? On 21st June, in the northern hemisphere, they experiences longest day and shortest night, and in the southern hemisphere, nights are longer than days. This condition of earth is regarded as the summer solstice, which is occurred on 21st June. Now, when we talk about before this, it is clear then that when northern hemisphere experiencing summer, there is winter in southern hemisphere. Now, when we see this image, it is taken from December, 22nd of December, winter solstice. Now, when we see the earth is tilted towards the southern pole, and the southern pole is receiving more sunlight. That is, Tropic of Capricorn receives more sunlight, so there is summer in summer in southern hemisphere and winter in northern hemisphere. And on 22nd December, in southern hemisphere, there are longer days and shortest night, and this condition of earth on 22nd December is regarded as the winter solstice. There are two types of solstice, winter solstice and summer solstice and winter solstice. Summer solstice occurs on 21st June and winter solstice appears on 22nd of December. Here we have discussed that how the northern hemisphere experiencing summer and the southern hemisphere experiencing winter. So we have done with the two seasons, that are winter and summer. Now we will continue with our spring and autumn. Now when you see these two diagrams, okay, this and this, in this earth is not so much tilted and the direct sun rays are falling on the equator. Direct sun rays falls on the equator, neither pole is tilted. Such condition, so the whole of the earth in these two positions experiences equal day and equal night. Means the duration of day and duration of night is equal, and that condition is known as equinox. And equinox appears on 21st March and on 23rd September. When we talk about the season, when there is spring season in northern hemisphere, then autumn in southern hemisphere, and when there is autumn in northern hemisphere, then spring in southern hemisphere. I hope it is clear now. It is very important, the formation of seasons. Summer solstice experienced on 21st of June, winter on 22nd of December, then equinox on 21st March and on 23rd September. Equinox, when the sun rays falls directly on the equator and the day or night are equal, it is called as equinox. And winter solstice, summer solstice, equinox, everything we have discussed. So now we are done with our topic, that is river revolution. I hope it is clear that what is rotation, what is revolution, the effects that rotation brings, the effects that revolution brings, the formation of day and night, the formation of seasons. I hope everything is clear in your mind as of now. Exercise. Now before starting off with exercise, I have to ask you one question. We celebrate Christmas in which month? We used to celebrate in it December, on 25th of December. But is there any country which celebrates Christmas in summer? Yes, Australia is the one which celebrates Christmas in summer season. Now we are going to start off with our exercise. Answer the following questions briefly. What is the angle of inclination of the Earth axis with its orbital plane? So, the angle of inclination of the Earth axis with its orbital plane is 66.5 degree. Define rotation and revolution. Rotation, the movement of Earth on its axis, is known as rotation. Earth takes 24 hours to complete one rotation, and it is responsible for the formation of day and night. When we talk about revolution, the movement of the Earth around the sun in a fixed path or orbit, it is known as revolution. It takes 365 days to complete one revolution around the sun, and it's responsible for the formation of seasons, which are summer, winter, spring and autumn. C. What is a leap year? The year in which February is of 29 days instead of 28 days is called as a leap year. The concept of leap year I have already explained you that we generally consist a year made up of 365 days. But it is 365 days and 6 hours. Those 6 hours add up to 4 years, which gives us the total number of 24 hours, and 24 hours is equal to 1 day. So this surplus 1 day is added to the month of February, and the total number of days in February becomes 29 instead of 28, and in the year it becomes 366 instead of 365. Okay, this is all about leap year. Now differentiate between summer and winter solstice. This is also we have discussed in detail in our topic revolution. In northern hemisphere, the longest day and the shortest night occurs at 21st June. At this time, the southern hemisphere, it occurs the shortest day and the longest night. That means there is summer in northern hemisphere and winter in southern hemisphere. This position of Earth is called as summer solstice. And when we talk about winter solstice, in the northern hemisphere, the shortest day and the longest night occur on the 22nd of December. And at this time, in southern hemisphere, it occurs the longest day and the shortest night. And this position of Earth is known as winter solstice, and during the winter solstice, the southern hemisphere experiences summer and northern experiences winter. What is equinox? It is the position of the Earth on the 21st March and 23rd September. Both the hemisphere experiences equal day and night. This condition of the Earth is regarded as equinox. Okay. Now, why does the southern hemisphere experiencing winter and summer solstice in different times than that of the northern hemisphere? The southern hemisphere is tilted towards the sun on 22nd of December. Hence, summer solstice is there in southern hemisphere. At that time, winter solstice in the northern hemisphere. On the contrary, on 21st June, the northern hemisphere is tilted towards the sun, hence the summer solstice in the northern hemisphere and winter solstice in the southern hemisphere. We have discussed in detail about the solstice in the topic that is revolution, formation of seasons. Why do the pole experience about 6-month days and 6-month night? Answer. The northern hemisphere is tilted towards the sun and the north pole remains in the light for the whole day. That is 24 hours for about 6 months. This position remains for 6 months from 21st March to 23rd of September. On the contrary, in the southern hemisphere, northern hemisphere, this is north and this is south. So, southern hemisphere, the south pole does not get light during these 6 months. When the north pole is getting light, south pole is not getting light. So, it remains dark for about 6 months. 6 months from 23rd September to 21st March. When the southern hemisphere is tilted towards the sun, the south pole remains in light for the 24 hours for about 6 months from 23rd September to 21st March, and the reverse is the condition in the North Pole. North Pole does not receive sunlight and remains in dark. Now, question number 2, tick the correct answer. The movement of Earth around the sun is known as revolution, and around its axis, rotation. Now, direct rays of sun falls on the equator on 21st March. When the sun rays directly fall on equator, on 21st March. Christmas is celebrated in summer in Australia and in India on 25th of December. Cycle of the season caused due to revolution, and cycle of day and night caused due to rotation. Fill in the blanks. A leap year has 366 days, whereas a normal year has 365 number of days. The daily motion of the earth is called as rotation. The earth travels around the sun in an elliptical path. The sun rays falls vertically on the Tropic of Cancer on 21st of June. Days are shorter during winter season. So this is all for our chapter motion of earth. We are done. We are done with this explanation. We are done with its exercise. I hope it is clear that the motion of earth are of two types, that is rotation and revolution. Rotation is the movement of earth on its axis. Earth take about 24 hours to complete one rotation, and rotation is responsible for the occurrence of day and night. And this occurrence of day and night we have studied in detail. Now, what is revolution? The movement of the earth around the sun in a fixed path or an orbit is called as revolution. Earth take 365 or 366 days to complete one revolution around the sun. And revolution is responsible for the formation of seasons. In India, we have 4 types of seasons: summer, winter, autumn and spring. I hope it is all clear what is rotation, what is revolution, everything I have explained you in detail. I hope that's all for today. Guys, today I want to apologize to you. In my earlier lecture, I said that globe is a 2D figure. When we talk about globe is a true miniature model of Earth, but it is a 3D figure. Okay, it's not 2D, it's not 2-dimensional, it's 3-dimensional object. Okay, and the second thing I wrote on the board that the standard meridian of India is 88.5 degree east. No, the standard meridian of India is 82.5 degree east, not 88.5 degree east. These are the 2 mistakes that I did in the earlier class. So if you have seen my earlier lecture, please correct these 2 things. Guys, I hope you liked my videos, and if you like my videos, then please do like, share and subscribe my channel.